thank you for the harmony. Next, I'd like to call Chris Grossman up to light the Shabbat candles.
Welcome, Shabbat Shalom. Amen.
Thank you, Chris. And the Kiddush, page 5, Rabbi Garfine.
Thank you. Let us praise God with the symbol of joy and thank God for the blessings of the past week, for life and strength, for home and love and friendship, for the discipline of our trials and temptations, for the happiness that has come to us out of our labor. You have ennobled us, O God, by the blessings of work, and in love have sanctified us through Shabbat rest and worship, as ordained in the Torah. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work, but the seventh day is Shabbat, to be hallowed unto Adonai our God. Praised be thou, O eternal our God, ruler of the universe, source of all joy, creator of the fruit of the vine. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kedeshanu b'mitzvotav, v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodesho, v'ava uvratzon, hinchilanu, zikaron l'maseh v'reshit, ki hu yom techila l'mikra'e kodesh, zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim, ki vanu v'chata v'yotanu kedashta mikol hamim, v'shabbat kodecha be'ava uv'ratzon hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat.
Amen.
Todah. Some wine.
You are the best.
Thank you. Some wine. Is it good? L'chaim.
L'chaim.
Thank you.
Thank you so much,
We'll work
Rabbi
on
Garfine.
We'll work on the wine.
What
Yes,
ruach
thank
he
you,
has,
thank you.
right? It's just to stand next to him while he is doing his thing is wonderful.
All right, page 14, Orza Ruach.
Ozaru halatzadik, ulishrei lev simcha. 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 Simcha
It's a very moving song. Page 16, we're going to read Psalm 98, the second half of Psalm 98 on page 16. Did you want to?
Oh, and we thought together we just wanted to share one possible way of experiencing or reflecting on this psalm. Some of us may have had a hard week. There's always challenges these days, personally, in our families, in our city, in our county, in our state, and in the world. But on Shabbat, we can always remember to celebrate and praise sacredness and praise divinity. And this prayer really encourages us particularly to lean into music, to always take music as a source for your spiritual strength, and to notice nature, the nature all around you. Yes, it may be hot and humid, but the birds are singing and the frogs are doing their dance at night. And this psalm really helps to remind us that divinity is everywhere, and lean to music and lean to nature to stay connected.
Beautiful, thank you. So let's read together. Sing praise to Adonai with the lyre and melodious song, with trumpets and the blast of the horn. Raise a shout before Adonai the ruler. Let the sea and all within it thunder, the world and its inhabitants. Let the rivers clap their hands, the mountains sing joyously together at the presence of Adonai. For God is coming to rule the earth. God will rule the world justly and its peoples with equity. Page 17, Ramemu, at the middle of the page.
Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'shachavu lecha hakodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'shachavu lecha hakodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'shachavu lecha hakodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'shachavu lecha hakodsho.
I'd like to invite Lee up, and didn't know if Toba was coming up for this one, for Lakado D.
Oh, and I want to share that I am looking forward to hear Lee do this Lakado D. It's not one I'm very familiar with. So all of you may know it, or it may be an opportunity, like it is for me, to hear a Jewish a cappella voice with this Lakado D, which will be welcoming our Shabbat bride. So we will still, at the moment that Lee cues us to, I'm hoping, because it's a different version that I know, that we will rise up and welcome in Shabbat at the door together.
Yeah, for the Boiva Shalom, we'll still rise up. And this is the Alana area in Lahadodi, which is sort of a lighter, more fun Lahadodi than some. So yeah, some of you may know it. All right, here we go. Lecha dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad. Hishmeyanu el hamyuchad, Adonai echad u'shmo echad, Shemo tiferet v'litzilah, Lecha dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechuvanelcha, ki mekor habracha, merosh mikedem nesucha, sof maseh b'machshava techila. Lecha dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela. Verse 5, hitoreri, kiva orei kumiuri, uri, shir daberi, kavod Adonai alaik nigla. Lecha dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela. Boi v'shalom aterek bala, gam b'simcha u'tohola, toch emuneh am segula. Boi chala, lecha dodi
And we'll remain
likrat
standing
kala
if we're willing and able.
pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela.
Wow,
Beautiful.
that was beautiful.
All
Thank
right,
you so
yes,
much,
you may
Lee.
be seated.
And we appreciate it's a new tradition that Stephanie Posner helped to remember and inspire, that ideally we stay standing for the Shabbat bride for the duration if we're willing and able. Of course, please be seated if that's what your body needs.
All right, page 22, Mizmor Shir.
Mizmor shir liyom hashavat, tov lehatot le'Adonai, uzamir l'shimcha elyon, uzamir l'shimcha elyon. Mizmor shir liyom hashavat, tov lehatot le'Adonai, uzamir l'shimcha elyon, uzamir l'shimcha elyon. L'hagid baboker hasdecha, ve'emunah balelot, alei asov alei navel, alei hegihom b'chinor. Mizmor shir liyom hashavat, tov le'adon le'Adonai, uzamir l'shimcha elyon, uzamir l'shimcha elyon. Mizmor shir liyom hashavat, tov le'adon le'Adonai, uzamir l'shimcha elyon, uzamir l'shimcha elyon.
Okay, we're going to read responsively the psalm below Mizmor Shir, Psalm, a song for Shabbat. It is good to praise Adonai, to sing hymns to your name, O Most High, to proclaim your steadfast love at daybreak, your faithfulness each night with a 10-stringed harp, with voice and lyre together. You have gladdened me by your deeds, Adonai. I shout for joy at your handiwork. How great are your works, Adonai, how very subtle your designs. A brute cannot know, a fool cannot understand this.
Branches bloom like a baby palm. They thrive like a cedar in Lebanon. Planted in the house of Adonai, they flourish in the courts of our God. In old age they still produce fruit. They are full of sap and freshness. The testing of Adonai is upright, my rock in whom there is no hope.
All right, please turn to page 28 for the Baruch. Baruch et Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
Olam asher Baruch et Adonai noten haTorah.
What's wonderful
Sorry, I
is
think
that we're all praying and chanting and worshiping and supporting each other.
Yes, I apologize. That
That
was
is
going to be a
no problem
short
at
chant.
all.
Okay, next page 30 is roll into dark. And of course, the exact words that we sing are not on that page, but I think most people know it, so.
And feel free to chime
be
in,
seated.
harmonize, whatever you might want to do in the English or Hebrew, or just relax and open your spirit, whatever feels good. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Borei hom v'layla, golei hom mipnei choshech, golei hom mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Borei hom v'layla, golei hom mipnei choshech, golei hom mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. That was so beautiful to hear everyone's voice.
All right, next is Ahavat Olam, page 32.
Ahavat Olam is such a tender and beautiful song about feeling the love in your heart and the tenderness with God. And I hope everyone can start to begin to drop into Shabbat spirit as we're journeying through this service together. I see people here that have been members for a long time. I see new people. Eric, hello. It's wonderful that you're here. People that are joining Temple Israel as we speak. Members of the community that may not be members here, but are always so welcome to celebrate Shabbat with us. So let's join together for Ahavat Olam. Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amecha mushma pati, otanu limatata, otanu miladata. Akein Adonai Eloheinu b'shavneinu, uvkume nasiach b'chukecha. V'shamnu, help me with these lyrics, because we sometimes all need silence. Thank you. Thank you. Those who sing, go for it. What a joy it is that sometimes when lay leaders or leaders in general stumble, the community supports, right? There's a beautiful piece of Torah that even Moses was holding out his arms and he was having a hard time and people came and supported. So thank you for supporting me in that song.
Beautiful. All right, Shema, the Shema on page 34. Feel free to sit, stand, whatever is comfortable for you. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem, Kavod Malchuto, Leolam Vaed. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol lavavcha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol me'odecha v'hayu ha'davarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom levavavecha v'shinatam levanecha v'dibarta b'ham v'shivtecha b'veitecha uv'lechtecha v'derech uv'shofbecha uv'kumecha u'kshartam lehot al yadecha v'hayu l'totafot b'neinecha u'chtavtam amezuzot beitecha u'vihisharecha L'man tizkeruhu v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'hitem kidoshim Elohechem Ani Adonai Elohechem Asher hotzeti etchem me'eretz Mizraim Lehiot lachem lelohim Ani Adonai Elohechem Adonai Elohechem Emet. Very nice, thank you. Okay, if you'll turn to page 39, we'll read responsively. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth.
High heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice and love.
From bondage in Egypt we were delivered. At Sinai we bound ourselves to your way.
Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, time and again we overcame oppressive forces.
Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed.
Let us continue to work for the day when the nations shall be one and at peace. Then shall we rejoice as Israel did, singing at the shores of the sea.
All right, page 40, Mika Moka.
Ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Micha mocha bahali madonai, micha mocha nedabako todesh. Nora tehilo dosefele, nora tehilo dosefele. Who is like you, Adonai? Who is like you, Adonai? Ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la.
That was fun. Page 42, Hashki Benu. And we're going to do read in English, read together in English. Grant, O God, that we lie down in peace and raise us up, our guardian, to life renewed. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Guide us with your good counsel. For your name's sake, be our help. Shield and shelter us beneath the shadow of your wings. Defend us against enemies, illness, war, famine, and sorrow. Distance us from wrongdoing. For you, God, watch over us and deliver us. For you, God, are gracious and merciful. Guard our going and coming to life and to peace evermore. Blessed are you, Adonai, guardian of Israel, whose shelter of peace is spread over us, over all your people Israel, and over Jerusalem. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu v'al kol amo Yisrael v'al Yerushalayim.
Amen.
Amen. All right, Bishamru, page 44.
And
Lee
we're
and-
having, yes, Tova and Lee are going to come and join us for Vishamru. Vishamru can be a lot of fun. So we hope you feel the energy and join in.
And
However
Rob, I
you
hope
want.
you're ready to dance.
Yeah, he
To
dances.
twirl, on this one. Yeah, the way, just the way I taught you. You know it.
Vishamru v'nei Israel et ha-Shabbat Lasot et ha-Shabbat ledoratam b'ritolah Vishamru v'nei Israel et ha-Shabbat Lasot et ha-Shabbat ledoratam b'ritolah
Vein uvein b'nei Yisrael, oti leolam, oti leolam, oti leolam.
Vishamru v'nei Israel et ha-Shabbat Lasot et ha-Shabbat ledoratam b'ritolah
Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai, et hashamayim ve'et haaretz.
Vishamru v'nei Israel et ha-Shabbat Lasot et ha-Shabbat ledoratam b'ritolah
Uvayom hashvi, Shabbat vaynafash, Shabbat vaynafash, Shabbat vaynafash.
Vishamru v'nei Israel et ha-Shabbat Lasot et ha-Shabbat ledoratam b'ritolah. You guys were wonderful. Thank you so much.
you.
Such ruach in the room. And while we are celebrating our joy, let's also hold in our Shabbat tonight that some of us are grieving. There's a lot going on for every person here, so we want to hold that some of us may not feel joyful. And we want to give Shabbat blessing to wherever each of us is tonight, whether they're here in the sanctuary or at home. We know there's grieving, we know there's sorrow and suffering, and how wonderful it is to be together. And where are we?
We are, I'm trying to remember, is this where we're-
So wonderful to have a team to be holding the tent together. This is when we open the ark. It sounds great. That's sort of her department, and I'm backing her up. Wow, 2 Claudias. Is this a moment?
We'll get through this. Thank you for your forbearance. All right, page 46, the tefillah. Adonai sefatachitahu v'yahi tehilatecha. Adonai open Eloheinu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah. Ha'el ha'gadol ha'gibor v'hanora, El Elyon, gomer chasadim tovim, v'norei ha'kol, v'zoher ha'ser o'imachot, u'mevi kula yimei b'nechem, l'man shemo Yehovah, melech ozer Mashiach u'magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham v'Yisrael. Atah gibor le'olam Adonai, Mekayeh hakol Torah v'Hoshia, Mori ha'atah. Mepakeh chayim b'chesed, Mekayeh hakol b'racham, Somer noflim v'rofeh cholim, Umatir asurim, Umakayeh me'gunatot, Lishenei afar, Mikamot chapad gevurot, Umidom elah, Melech benit umechayeh, Umashiach Yeshua. Baruch atah Adonai, Atah kadosh b'shem kadosh, u'koshim b'kol yom yahalaluka selah. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh. And now we'll read together until 54, and then silently or quietly until page 62. Where might I go to find you, exalted hidden one? Yet where would I not go to find you, ever-present, eternal one? My heart cries out to you. Please draw near to me. The moment I reach out for you, I find you reaching in for me. Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh. Please join me. You set aside the 7th day for your name, the pinnacle of creation, and you blessed it above all other days, more sacred than all festival times. So it is written in your Torah, the heaven and the earth were finished in all their array. On the 7th day, God had completed a work that had been done, ceasing then on the 7th day from all the work that God had done. Then God blessed the 7th day and made it holy, and ceased from all the creative work that God had chosen to do. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. You are with us in our prayer, our love and our doubt, and our longing to feel your presence and do your will. kindness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, or light within. Grant us peace, your most precious gift, our eternal source of peace. And give us the will to proclaim its message to all the peoples of the earth. My God, guard my speech from evil and my lips from deception.
You may be seated when you feel ready. Thank you so much. You know,
Oh, well.
we have a lot of structure and we're always a little bit in the wilderness. It's cool. This is a real and amazing and beautiful service, and I'm so honored that there's enough Jews in Tallahassee that we are here. And I think we're going to celebrate that with the bringing down of peace from the heavens. Is that correct?
Oseh Shalom.
Oseh Shalom.
Page 62.
Oseh Shalom Bimromav. Uyaseh Shalom Aleinu. Ve'akol Israel. V'imhu amen. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom. Shalom Aleinu ve'akol Israel. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom. Shalom Aleinu ve'akol Israel. Oseh Shalom Bimromav. Uyaseh Shalom Aleinu ve'akol Israel. V'imhu amen. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom. Shalom Aleinu ve'akol Israel. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom. Shalom Aleinu ve'akol Israel.
Thank you. And now it's time for our Devar Torah given by our very own Claudia. I'm excited. The last one she did was just wonderful, very insightful, and I'll turn it over to you.
It is so special to work with another Claudia. This has never happened in my life. I've never even had a friend named Claudia. So I love that. Mine is Chaya Shoshana, after my aunt and grandmother. And I could go off the cuff, but as I'm not a professional, I'm gonna work with my notes. So take a moment, let me get organized. I really love studying Torah. I really love reading Parshat. I really love reading commentary on Parshat, and then I love thinking about it. So I encourage everybody, before we start, you can You can buy a Torah, first of all, if you don't have one in your home, the spinning dreidel has them. You can have your own Torah in your house if you don't happen to have one. You can also go online. There's many beautiful websites of divergent thinking where you can read, you can Google this week's Parsha, and you will find this week's Parsha. And then you can read rabbinic commentary on it, and you can just do that for little moments. And it brings you so much closer to Torah. And it's part of the living tradition of our people to stay engaged with Torah. So it's wonderful to hear others' words, and it's also great to have your own relationship with Torah even after your bar or bat mitzvah is over. So we're in Deuteronomy. Deuteronomy is the final phase of the life of Moses. So we've been journeying through the wilderness for a long time. Miriam, Aaron, many of our great leaders have come to their moment, and we are here with Moses. And Moses knows he's not got much more time. He is aware. So he is in a strong sense of urgency in this parsha to convey his teaching, because you know that phrase, you are a stiff-necked people? That's in this parsha. We are all brilliant and open-hearted and also sometimes stiff-necked too. So Moses, towards the end of his life, is getting kind of intense and kind of dramatic because he wants to impress upon the people the covenant and the mitzvot as best as he can, because he knows his time is nearing. So that parsha is called Akev, Parsha Akev, Deuteronomy 7:12 to 11:25. What I'm going to focus on in this parsha is not something very intense. I'm going to focus on mezuzot, to be correct in the Hebrew. Many of us have a mezuzah, or maybe many. Where does the tradition of the mezuzah come from? This parsha. Where in this parsha? The Ve'ahavta. The Ve'ahavta comes from this parsha. What a gift. And Moses gives us the gift of the Ve'ahavta in the final phases of his life. And in that Ve'ahavta, bind them like a sign upon your hand. Doorposts. Doorposts literally is a mezuzah. So the parsha is called Akev. What does Akev mean in Hebrew? Hebrew means, Akev means because, or thereof, or if you follow. You could think, what a really boring name for a parsha, like you're calling the parsha because. But when we go deeper into this, what this word means, into the Hebrew, into the root of the Hebrew, there's a lot there. This Akev means it's about the relationship between things. It's about the cause and effect of things. It's about one thing follows to the next, such as listening to the Shema and following with the Ve'ahavta, and then following with righteous action. There are, Moses tells us, very beneficial consequences when we follow or take the consequence and follow the words of the Ve'ahavta. And there are harmful consequences when we don't. Moses gives us the Ve'ahavta because it spells out how to live the Shema. It can be relatively easy to chant the Shema, listen, God is one, but then you go to work the next day, you wake up with your kids, you're fussy, you're cranky, politics are going on. How do we live the Shema? That's what the Ve'ahavta does. The Ve'ahavta kind of breaks it down and gives us practical guidance about what to do so that the Shema is a living thing that we inhabit every day. When you leave tonight, if you didn't notice, by the way, my German Lutheran mother, who raised me in an interfaith family, got me, I'm going to get a little teary, this happens when you're a new lay leader, a mezuzah, and that's on the table. So nice of her, right? See, my father had a very oppressive Jewish upbringing and rejected it. Now he's re-embraced it totally. But my German Lutheran mom wanted to honor our people. So she did it. Oh, I'm so teary. Amazing. What are we here for if not to be touched? Right? What are we here for if it doesn't matter? So here we are with Moses at the end of his days. He's busting his butt to convey the importance of following the mitzvot. Moses takes many different tones. Sometimes Moses is gentle, and sometimes he's compassionate, and sometimes he's harsh. Sometimes the words of Moses are uplifting and inspirational, and sometimes he is full of fire and intensity and frustration. Sometimes Moses, in his words in the Torah, is wise and confident. And sometimes Moses, as we may all know, becomes frustrated and becomes soul weary. And sometimes Moses feels abandoned deeply by his own fellow leadership, by his own people, sometimes by God. We, like Moses, are also human, and we also have a big range of feeling and a big range of capacity. And the Ve'ahavta is Moses' way of helping to orient us, whether we're feeling strong or weak, whether our voice is shaky or confident. The rules in the Ve'ahavta are benchmarks for how to live the Shema. And one of those benchmarks is to put a mezuzah on your door. The Talmud in Avot 4:2 tells us good deeds lead to good deeds, bad deeds lead to bad deeds, right? Mitzvah gerera mitzvah, avara gerera avara. So the mitzvah of putting up a mezuzah is one of many, many, many. It is the only mitzvah that in the Torah, according to Torah, says, you do this mitzvah, it will give you a long life. This one simple, almost mechanical mitzvah, putting up a mezuzah, is the only one that we're told in Torah, if you do that, it will give you a long life. That's of note. Why would that be? Rabbis have been commentating on that for centuries and debating that very question for centuries. We're going to talk a little bit more about practical stuff about the mezuzah, and then we're going to talk about why might this be, and what have rabbinic commentaries said over time about why should this affixing of the mezuzah on the door be so significant that it helps those in the home have long life. So, Parshat Eikav, we have the Torah basis for the practice of Jewish families of fixing the mezuzahs on their door. This has been going on for centuries all over the world, not just Ashkenazic Jews, Sephardic Jews, on every continent for a very long time. Bar and bat mitzvah ceremonies are relatively new. Mezuzah is not new. It's kind of like from the beginning. Inside a mezuzah, as many of us know, to get into the nuts and bolts of it, there is a little Torah scroll. On that little Torah scroll is the Shema and verses from this Parsha, from Parsha Eikev, excuse my Hebrew, which includes the Ve'ahavta. Also, there is somewhere on the mezuzah that you have either the mystical or one of God's mystical names, which is Shaddai. Does anyone have a better pronunciation for me? Shaddai, which is one of God's more mystical names, which I don't hear that often, but it was used often to communicate with Isaac and the whole lineage. There's Shaddai in the Torah. So there's either Shaddai in your mezuzah, or there's a shin, the Hebrew letter shin, on the front. A shin, for those of us who haven't done the alphabet for a while, looks almost like a three-pronged mountain. When I was a little child, I thought it was a mountain. I thought it was a picture of a mountain to show the might of God. True, and it's also the Hebrew letter shin, which indicates Shaddai, which indicates this mystical name of God, which also means the guardian of the gate of Israel. It's an acronym for that. Here's a little practical information. for mezuzot. Some things you do. Every 7 years, you're supposed to check it within that 7 years 2 times. Especially in Florida, it's humid, it rains. So we're supposed to take care, this is commanded in the Torah, take care of it 2 times within a 7-year cycle. Take it off very carefully. Make sure that the ink is still legible, that that Hebrew is still strong. If not, you get new Hebrew in there. Give it a cleaning. Make sure everything is good. If you have a new home, if you move somewhere new, within 30 days, you put up your mezuzot. You put up your mezuzah. You, of course, most primarily put it on your main doors. You can also put it on your bedroom doors, kitchen, dining room, anywhere that Maimonides wrote a lot about mezuzah placement. And he was a philosopher. So the fact that we have a philosopher writing for pages about practical mezuzah stuff in the Guide to the Complex shows us this is important. So he says you can place it anywhere that is a dignified room. So he says not a bathroom, not a storage room, not a closet. Your call. It's a wonderful gift for a Jewish family or an interfaith family for a baby. How beautiful to gift parents with a beautiful mezuzah for their child's door. It's also a beautiful gift for housewarming. If any of us have children that are going to college, it is beautiful to put a mezuzah on anywhere that is a home away from home. So we have many and many upcoming children that will be launching into other spaces. And if they have a home away from home, give them a mezuzah. It is not to be put on a place of work or business usually. Now, we can be flexible. We don't have to follow that. It's okay. But just so you know, halachically speaking, it's for home, not for work. There's a blessing. And if I'm going to say the blessing, and if people want to chime in with me, you can say the blessing whatever you want, but particularly before you put up a mezuzah, you say this blessing, which is super simple, and then quickly, you put the mezuzah up. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu likbawa mezuzah. And then right away, you put up your mezuzah. There's a wonderful long tradition of having a housewarming party or a house blessing when you do that. So if you move into a new house and you're going to put up your mezuzah, you can just do it, or you can make it a moment. Let Temple Israel know, and we will want to come over and celebrate with you. So, Maimonides, one of my favorite Hebrew philosophers ever, really intellectual, but also really from the heart. I love him. Maimonides spent pages in Guides to the Perplexed. This is like early medieval time in France, making an argument about mezuzahs. I'll tell you what his argument is really briefly, and then I'll tell you why is he bothering to make this argument? Why does it matter? So Maimonides' argument is mezuzahs are not mystical. They are a practical symbol to waken up our consciousness. So when we walk through the door where a mezuzah is hung, it reminds us of Torah, it reminds us of the covenant, it reminds us to walk our talk of mitzvot when we go out to the world. Then when we come home, we see the mezuzah. Some of us may do the thing or not, but when we come home, we also train our eyes to see the mezuzah, and then it reminds us shalom bayit, and being kind to our family is one of the most important things we can do. So Maimonides argues for pages about how the mezuzah is not a magical object. It is a very important symbol that we should train our children and ourselves to do to anchor us to walk our talk of being a Jew wherever we go, out or home. Why does he spend so many hours making this argument? Because there is a wide and vast folk tradition that mezuzahs are amulets that guard us against evil. And that is rooted from very ancient times in multiple Middle Eastern religions. And that is still active among many Jewish people all around the world, that this mezuzah, in addition to reminding us, is also a little bit of a spiritual protector, like an amulet that guards us from evil. So Maimonides, being a scholar, was really a big believer in science, a big believer in observing the natural world, and his sense on God was that God is not magic. God does not make magical things happen. God and divinity is imbued in everything, and it is our job to study it and to train our minds and walk the talk. He was not a magical amulet kind of guy. So he argues this, and there have been rabbis every single century for 10 centuries. People have been debating this. That's a long time of debate around mezuzah, because it's not just about the mezuzah. It's about heart versus head. It's about belief versus facts. So it's a big deal. So what I'm going to offer is we don't have to polarize those two things. We don't have to be in a dichotomy. We don't have to be in head versus heart, but that both together is what makes us strong and beautiful. So we can believe that the mezuzah gives us some special protection. I can believe that this necklace from my great-grandmother helps to keep me strong. And I don't have to fight about, is it really true? Is it really magical? Is it all in your head? We don't have to go into that polarized thinking. We can know that objects, if they are in the context of belief systems, can function like magic. And we can also know that if we're in the realm of magic or faith, that it is also important to keep our intellect alive. That's important too. So the flip side of Maimonides is I cannot only believe that my grandmother's necklace is going to see me through everything. I have to also plan. I have to also prepare. I have to also use my God-given discernment to make decisions along with the magic. So I offer for everybody tonight, when you go home and you walk through your gate, you may have a mezuzah. And if you do, take a moment, even if it's just a breath, and think, how can that mezuzah help remind me of what's important, of what are my values as a Jew? What mitzvot do I need to work on? And can it light up a little sacredness in your heart? So we have head and heart, magic and science together. Shabbat shalom.
Thank you so much. I learned a lot from that, and I will go home and check my mezuzah because I didn't know about the twice in 7-year preventive maintenance.
It's a great thing to do. And for any of us that don't have a mezuzah, I got new mezuzahs a few years ago in our gift shop, and it was really beautiful to get a mezuzah here at Temple Israel. So if you don't have one or you don't like yours, come to us and we'll help you.
Yeah. So now we're going to pray, think about those people that we know that need healing, and I'm going to read the list and then ask for anybody that you would like to add to the list. So Lisa Sherry, Fernando Casillas, Naomi Harris, Evan Fergenbaum, Audrey Williams, Kurt Reimer, Susan Stauber, Leslie Diaz, Jeanette Erie, Jenny Engelbrecht Barbarino, Megan Lagasse Vanderlei, Tim Lyons, Marjorie Gilberg, Bronwyn Farrell, Hub Chasen, Alan Sussman, Edwin Fleet, Amy Jackson, Jane Lecter, Diana Fernandez, Christina Webb, Alan Webb, David Greenberg, David Priceman, Selma Samansky, Faye Barnett, and are there any other names?
Chase it again. He's admitting lots of good things about his life. And then Michelle Holland and Bill Walker.
Anyone else?
Oh, Chloe Ransom.
And I'll add Jeff Blackburn. All right, page 253 for the Misha Bayrock.
Misha Bayrock, Avotenu, Mekor Abraham, Dimotenu, made a source of strength, who bless the ones before us. Help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misha Bayrock, Imotenu, Mekor Abraham, Avotenu, bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
All right. Now is the time for celebration, and I would like for anybody who has had a celebration in the past week, or one coming up, or even in the month of, what month are we in, August? Please feel free to stand up and share, and we'll do a Shehekianu. Anybody?
It can take a little time. Yeah.
Well, last Friday, I announced that we had an anniversary coming up. And oddly enough, I was thinking it was earlier this week, but after carefully consulting calendars and so forth, I have determined by scientific methods that it's actually tomorrow.
Oh,
Ah.
I'll have to think of something, maybe get some flowers in public or something.
happy anniversary,
Happy
Marvin
anniversary.
and Geraldine.
Happy anniversary. Yes.
Oh, wow. Double Shehekianu for you.
Tell Bernie happy birthday. Happy
Yeah.
anniversary.
I think we've got Joy next. Joy? Oh, no? Oh. Yes.
Shall
Happy
we do a
birthday,
happy birthday?
Mimi.
Okay.
Who else? Lee?
Next week, on the 23rd is my mom's birthday, and my birthday's on the 26th.
Wow. Happy birthday.
And Jacob, our pianist, has one.
I just got a new chess coach and had my first chess lesson with him on Wednesday, and he's really good, and I'm really excited for how he will teach.
Wow. So
And,
happy.
and also, didn't you just win like second place in some big tournament?
Oh, yeah, I won my second.
Yeah.
He tied for first, actually.
Tied for first. Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he just started second year of high school. We all may know children that have just gone back to school and teachers that have go back to school. So let's celebrate their open minds and their strength and stamina.
Yes, and I'm celebrating that my 4-month-old newest grandbaby is in the 95th percentile for height. He didn't get it from me, obviously, and head circumference. So, yeah. All right. So, Shehekianu, page 344.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu v'kimanu v'hegianu lazman hazeh.
Now it's time to open the ark. So the bottom of page 282. If you'll please rise for Elena.
So shall I? Yes. One.
So tonight we'll read meditation on page, well, first, I have this reversed. Okay.
Good.
So I'm going to read the names of those that we'll be saying Kaddish for tonight. Tonight, we're aware of the recent death of Andrea Boland, sister of Jill Sandler. We're in Sheloshim for Ruth Werner, cousin of Howard Rubin. In Sheloshim for Henry Molina III, son of Mimi Garcia, brother of Alex Molina. and also for Gail Slavin, wife of Charles Slavin. And we're remembering the yahrzeit of Barbara Friedenberg, Anna Paula Blank, Theodora Topchik, Stuart Halprin, Della Abarbanel, Janet Levin, William Ellerstein, Amy Sokolow Goodman, David Sherman, Frances Rochelle Gibbs, Shirley Fox, David Schonbrunn, Flo De Leon, and Henry Molina Sr. So if you will join me, please rise. We'll read the meditation on page 288. When I die, give what's left of me away to children and old men that wait to die. And if you need to cry, cry for your brother walking the street beside you. And when you need me, put your arms around anyone and give them what you need to give me. I want to leave you something better than words or sounds. Look for me in the people I've known or loved, and if you cannot give me away, at least let me live in your eyes and not in your mind. You can love me best by letting hands touch hands and by letting go of children that need to be free. Love doesn't die, people do.
So when all that's left of me is love, give me away.
Page 294. Yit Gadal, Vit Kadash, Shemei Rabbah, Bialma, Divra, Hirte, Biamlik, Malkute, Bachai Yechon, Uvimechon, Uvchaye, Dekal, Beit Israel, Bagala, Ubizman Kari, Vimru, Amen. Yehe Shemei Rabbah, Mavah,
Lailam Umaya Maya, Yit Barak, Vishtabach, Vitabar, Vietnamam, Vietnase, Yit Hadar, Vit Halev, Vit Brichu,
Mika, Bikata, Bishata, Tushbekata, Benechamata, Dami Ran, Bima, Vimru, Amen. Yehe Shalom Araba, Min Shemaya, Bachai, Nalenu, Biakol Israel, Vimru, Amen. Osei Shalom Bimromav, Hu Yasei Shalom, Alenu, Biakol Israel, Vimru, Amen. We think of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at this season in years past, and those whom we have drawn into our hearts with our own. May their memories be for blessing. You may be seated. All right. So we have a few announcements tonight. Shabbat morning service will be tomorrow morning at 10 a.m., led by Isabel Potts. Please join us in person or on Facebook Live or maybe YouTube now. I think we transitioned to YouTube tonight. The Big Bend Jewish Social Club is having a concert at Temple Israel on Sunday, August 28th at 4:30. Come join Stephanie Posner and Angel Diarmendi for a cello and piano concert and conversation on the melodies of our high holy days.
Can you say that time and date one more time?
Yeah, it's August 28th at 4:30.
Be there or be square.
Yeah.
You need to RSVP. You need to RSVP.
Because there will be a light dessert prepared by Leah Sweet Treats, and they want to get it right.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
Thank you. Mark your calendars for envisioning prayer and designing Proverbs at 6:30 p.m. on September the 15th, a program where your creative side meets your spiritual side. And there will be more details and registration coming soon. And also not on here, but mark your calendars for September 18th from 4 to 6 p.m. We're planning a tabletop exercise. It's part of our safety and security plan before the high holidays. So, anything else? Any other announcements?
You said September 18th?
Yes, it's a Sunday afternoon.
Rhea.
Also on September 18th at 10:30 in the morning, Sunday morning, Temple Israel Sisterhood is having its first meeting. It's called A Taste of Sisterhood.
Thank you so much, Ria.
Wonderful. Thank you, thank you.
I have an announcement to piggyback off Ria. First of all, Ria, it is so wonderful to have you be a Shabbat greeter. And Ria, I was just on the phone with her recently, and she told me how much she loves being a Shabbat greeter because you get to know everybody. You have these moments of exchange with the community, and it's wonderful. All you need to do is arrive 15 minutes early and then interact with me and Mimi some, which can be difficult, but it's worth it. Sorry, getting my brain on here. Very briefly, I'm going to be reaching out, so be on your lookout. If you have ever done Shabbat greeting or you might be interested to, we're going to add a little bit of security consciousness to greeting, and we're going to get some professional greeting training where we're going to do some role plays about what do we do if someone comes in and we feel a little shaky about them. So this will not be like someone with a microphone and you'll all be sitting down. This will be like role plays, action for Shabbat greeters. Our main job will always be welcoming Shabbat, but we're going to add, again, just a little bit more scaffolding and practicality about so we know how to support our law enforcement and keep us safe. We need a few more greeters. We need some greeters that are men. So women, talk to your men. Men, talk to your men. Anyone who knows men or male-identified people that just carry masculine energy, whatever gender they are, but we could use some more of that masculine-identified energy to be greeters as well. So, thanks. Lee. That is so wonderful. Thanks for sharing the announcement, and it's wonderful that Moore Bryan is still engaging with Temple Israel, even while he has launched as a Jewish professional, transitioning from being an environmental leader, which he was. But look at how his Jewish leadership developed. So how amazing that he can now have that as a job, but he still loves us, and he's still going to be here. So blessing to that. I don't know. Yes. Yes, the community knows. Yes. Okay. Do we have any more announcements?
So we need the youngest people in the room. I think that might be Tova. And anybody else? Oh, Jacob. Sorry, I forgot about Jacob. Yeah, to do Motzi.
I'm like one of the tallest people here. I shouldn't be the youngest.
No, you're still little.
Motzi.
Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. We give thanks to God for bread. Our voices rise in song together as our joyful prayer is said. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen.
Can I eat a little? Why don't we bring it to the social hall?
Yeah.
Of course you can.
All right. Our closing song. Oh, we'll have to wait now because
That's great.
He's got to play for our closing song.
He's 15, if you're wondering. And you can get your spirits ready. We're going to do Hava Nashira, which simply means let us sing together, right? Thank you, Jacob. That was awesome. So chime in to Hava Nashira
Page
however you
339,
want,
yeah.
in any way you want, and we'll keep jamming with it until we sense we're done.
339.
339. Hava Nashira, Shir Hallelujah, Shir Hallelujah. Hava Nashira, Shir Hallelujah, Shir Hallelujah. Hava Nashira,
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Please join us in the social hall for an oneg, sponsored by the temple, I think.
I
The
hope.
Claudias, yeah.
Yes, yes. And yes, everyone, please have a happy Shabbat, and thank you so much for the participatory,
Yes.
big tent, doing our service together. Like, how heartwarming and wonderful. So I look forward, and we look forward to chatting with you on the other side of the wall.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rabbi Gershon.
I screwed up a lot.
Did a great job. You did better than I would have done. So, you guys did great. Yeah. Got a good spirit about her. Your percentile.
Wow, it's gonna be so tough.
Wow. And they're 80. Yeah, balance is something.
No, his father's like 6'3".
Oh,
Yeah, and she's 5'9". Yeah, yeah.
well, my son is taller than both you and his mother. We don't know.
Yeah, my daughter too, yeah. Where did that come from? Didn't come
Well,
from my son.
his mother, my husband's mother, was tall, taller than
Wow.
her husband. Pretty amazing. So we figured it might have been from his dad angle, but we thought for sure we were having a short kid.
Yeah.
Thank you. All you're doing. See you later.
Especially
You know, I haven't been to Europe for a long time, and I never did Europe.
well, I have never been traveling.
I do that now. It's usually like, you know,
I did this in this kind of year.
yeah, I got that from Robert.
But to literally be in his house.
Yeah. Our history as a people is what you're going to say. It's so amazing.
It's just an amazing town.
Wow.
So that
Well, thank you. That will stay in my mind forever.
if you ever go,
I will go. I don't have an immediate plan, but I will go.
that would be an interesting trip and maybe some sites that we've gotten to that sort of off the beaten path.
I would be very, I don't know, just moved and excited to do that. So thank you.
Good job.
Thank you.
Oh, just lost power at the house.
Sorry.
That's okay. So, you know it's changed, or I don't know. Like when we were doing the cottage, I didn't do what I normally like, tell them to stand up when it's their, somebody they're saying cottage for, and then everybody else. I got confused about whether I was supposed to read the names before we did the meditation.
This is
I
a
just was not
humongous
connecting today at
jump
all.
to, like, you've led one service here.
I know, but I think I did better without.
Yeah,
I'm
there's not a deep base
Yeah,
of
yeah.
having done it here,
Yeah,
a lot to draw
yeah,
on. And
yeah.
so when one doesn't have a deep
Yeah.
base of this kind of leadership, it just is not going to be on every time.
Yeah,
But it was totally good enough and had a lot of really
yeah.
positive,
Well, you have a
supportive.
beautiful presence, and honestly, you don't
moments.
need anybody doing this. You could do the whole
I,
thing.
I can't handle it mentally. Yeah, it's like too, I would need to do it a lot more. Yeah, it's too many pieces for me to keep track of, and I don't know the Hebrew, so I cannot lead that. So you did that really beautifully. And I think it's so nice. Maybe it can be more disorganized in some ways to have two people, but it's also so nice.
Oh,
And we
yeah.
had our roles in a really anchored way.
Yeah.
And it sounds like you're going through.
Are we off? I hope we're
I'm
off.
hoping we're off. I'm not sure that we are. We're not.